Boss, hi. I really appreciate you agreeing to this meeting. Slow day, I'll take it. It won't be long anyway, and I think you'll be convinced by my argument. I assure you, this meeting could not have been an email because you would have rejected the proposal based on company policy. I may be asking you to bend the rules a tiny bit for me. Hold on, just hear me out. I promise this will be more interesting than playing solitaire while you wait for the next report. Boss, you have a window behind you in your office. We can all see it in the reflection. So, will you listen to what I have to say, if only for the entertainment value? Great. Now, I know we have a strict policy against internal score settling, no asking coworkers to kill personal targets, but as I will further elucidate, I cannot do this one myself, and I really need this done. I knew you would say that, and that's why I prepared this. A PowerPoint presentation explaining why I really need to be able to hire Elias to kill my next-door neighbor. Yes, that's exactly why I can't do it myself. 1, too obvious. And 2, he's so paranoid he'd see me coming a mile away because he knows I hate him. Trust me, he hates me just as much. But this is all on him. I hold no responsibility for this. Why, you ask? Well, let's start at the beginning. First slide. So, this is my next-door neighbor and resident crank, Percy. I moved into the house next to his 2 years ago, which I was able to afford thanks to this well-paying assassin position, you know. Right. Ever since I moved in, this old man has had it out for me. Boss, I assure you, I'm a perfectly pleasant neighbor. I even went over to introduce myself when I moved in. I thought an old-timer like him would appreciate it. Instead, he barely cracked the door open and told me not to touch his bins, and that he'd be watching to make sure I didn't steal anything. Oh, you'd think, wouldn't you? Just paranoia from a previous bad neighbor. But when I asked, he just said that their kids knocked over his garbage can. Once. Somehow, he didn't realize how nonsensical he sounded. Oh, I would have been happy to ignore him following that. Good fences, good neighbors, and all that. But... next slide. I can't keep to myself if he won't do the same, constantly peeking out the windows whenever I go outside as though he thinks I'm about to commit a crime. Okay, yes, usually I am about to, but not in my own neighborhood. I don't mix my work and home life. Thank you. I operate like a responsible assassin. No, the spying is only the beginning. Next slide. Whenever I start my car up, no matter what time of day it is, he comes out yelling about how much noise I'm making. No, as far as I know, my car isn't louder than any other car. He's the only one who's ever had a problem with it. That isn't as bad as it gets. He started calling the cops. Exactly. The last thing I need is cops knowing what I look like. I talked to them through the door, of course, but from what I could hear, they sounded annoyed at being called over bogus noise complaints. It's not a major concern anymore. I think he pulled a boy who cried wolf too many times because they stopped showing up months ago. And instead, I get notes. Next slide. Almost every week, I get at least one insane screed pinned to my door about how I'm responsible for something that went wrong in the neighborhood. Yep, he thinks I paid off the cops, as though an assassin of my caliber would need to do something as basic as that. Sorry, personal offense there. The idea that I'd need to bribe someone. Anyway, I think it's clear that these notes are definitely a form of harassment, and he's getting way too close to my house placing them. They're all this level of nonsense. Last week there was a strong breeze that knocked over his bins, and I found a note on my door blaming me for it. I suppose that was the one time he wasn't peeping through the curtains. Ugh, I wish. He owns his house fully and he's not going to move anytime soon. He's nothing but a nuisance and I need to get rid of him. That's the issue. Everyone in the neighborhood knows he's got it out for me. So if I kill him, it'll be too obvious it was me. Boss, you know my skill set. Spectacle, sending a message. Making it look like an accident or possibly natural causes is not one of my specialties. Yes, that's exactly why I want to hire Elias. He's incredible with that. Money's no issue. I'm certainly not looking for an employee discount. The issue is our internal policy. As an assassin employed by this company, I can't hire him without facing severe penalty. So that's why I'm asking for you to clear it. Surely you understand now, yes? Why didn't I just go ahead? The policy? Penalty? I know it's just a write-up, but if I get written up, I won't get the Employee of the Month award. It'll go to Brianna because we have the same amount of hits. Yes, seriously. Please, boss. Clear me for an internal hiring. Just this once. Yes, thank you. Finally, I'll be able to step outside without that weirdo staring at me. Huh? You got it, boss. Just this one time. Meeting adjourned. I think the better question is, why does our assassin organization have a Microsoft Office license? Oh, I never would have thought of that. See, that's why you're in charge and not me. Oh, I've got a hit to get to. Thanks again, boss. This is what real office work is like.